Welcome. This is Barry Jones from the Angel School, and we're here for our weekly angel reading for July 3rd through the 9th, 2017. So let's just take a moment to take a deep breath and to align with our hearts and the love of the universe that channels through your heart, connecting in very deeply with those high frequencies of light. And as you do this, allow yourself to just allow everything to be cleared from your mind. Allow your thoughts to just don't try to resist them, but just allow them to be, and try to focus on the peace within from your inner voice, your inner being. Just connecting in with that source of well-being. And so, as I kind of tune in, the angels are giving me a sense that in this week, okay, so they're showing me the third eye. And this usually means increase in intuitive awareness. But they're also showing me, they keep writing the word lost. So there's something to this. And I'm not sure, but the feeling I'm getting is, as they keep showing me the third eye and this word, that there's a sense that you need to, so there's a sense of maybe feeling sort of not unable to grasp something in this week. And it's something about your intuition. So you may be feeling a little lost in terms of some kind of certainty that you're looking for in your guidance. And you may be feeling a bit confused, or maybe get a sense of that you're not reading something accurately. And what they want you to do is to not keep stressing over the details, okay? They're writing the word, I'm feeling the sense of the word looming. So there's information that's always looming around you. And at this point, they're showing me that you're feeling a little emotionally vulnerable, feeling a little confused is the word I'm hearing. And when this occurs for you, this means that you are stressing over something, a particular detail. And I get a sense it's a detail that you just can't, like they're showing me teeth. It's either a detail that you can't let go of. It's like you keep over analyzing it. You use this detail to, it becomes a source of suffering for you. It blocks you, as they're writing out some of these words. It blocks you from experiencing joy. And you know that this detail is stopping you from having any kind of peace, inner peace. And as long as you fixate on that detail, you're going to feel lost. So the thing is that it's time for you to give that peace a bit of rest. Somehow you think you're going to solve whatever it is that's going on by fixating on that detail. And it's that detail that's creating the confusion because it's not the peace. It's not the bigger picture. Okay? It's like the forest for the trees kind of moment here. You need to be focused on the bigger picture. You need to be focused on where your goals, your dreams, where they're leading, the possibilities of where they're leading. So I'm getting a sense that you are missing out on the possibilities, like other possibilities, because you fixated on this detail and you have so many plans sort of mapped out that involve this detail, but this detail is not working the way you want it. It's creating, right now the word composition is creating a whole different kind of a composition. Okay, it's creating a whole nother composition, and it's creating a composition of suffering as he keeps showing me the cross. And so you've got to know that when something is creating confusion, suffering, any form of negativity, that you've got to let that go. Because unless you do, and the right word caught, you're going to feel like you're caught in this trap. And it's like you can't find your way out. And you can't find your way out because the piece that you're fixating on is what's creating your point of attraction. And and the more you fight it, the faster it grows. Okay? The more you fight it, the more you resist it, the faster it grows. Or the experiences like it increase. So you've got to let go of that detail, because it's usually, if a detail is creating so much disturbance, it means that you are missing the bigger picture. Now, it's not for you to go and then all of a sudden, go crazy about what is the big picture. Let it come to you. Let it come to you. Don't wrestle for these kinds of things. So in your guidance, you may get an indication. Like when we started out, I had no idea what they were trying to say really. But one of the things I've learned is you have to start describing it. Maybe it's a good opportunity for you to, because they did write out the word book, and in this sense, maybe they're talking about writing it out, journaling about the information that you're getting. Write it out, because sometimes you just may discover other possibilities. There's a release when you look at it from a different perspective and you just start maybe writing it out. I'm also sensing that the same idea may apply for someone who actually is writing something, working on something that's related to writing, but it can really relate to anything. To just go ahead, maybe even in a separate notebook, if you're already in the middle of something like a character, write out your ideas in another book, a notebook, and just sort of go with it and see what happens. Okay, and then write out the word deliver. So it's almost like if you do this, it will be delivered to you through just this creative exploration. Because sometimes you hesitate about making mistakes, and you fixate on a detail, and you make it like the end of the world kind of thing. And you need to play with these things. You need to play with them. You need to sometimes you need to talk it out, and sometimes you can talk to other people, but you still may not kind of be satisfied. So work it out on a piece of paper, and see what other things come to you, that ideas, other just explore, but explore creatively, and don't worry about, because you're, obviously the ego will gather more details similar to the one that you're crazed over, and they will drive you crazy as well. And you have to, focus on what's important in the present moment. So don't let further details that have nothing to do with the immediate present or the near future to get involved. Okay, stay as present tense as you can, like as immediate, the details that are immediate, and all that other stuff that creeps up, let that go. But when you write if you don't even understand it, just write your guidance down on a piece of paper. And I always say to guidance that if, when I see something I don't get it right away, I either start talking about it, describing it, and then all of a sudden it starts to flow in, or I just say, okay, let's see what else that could turn out to be. Okay, so this is what I think I'm receiving from, the angels, because it's hard to read for yourself, and then just go and let's see what else it could be. Always be curious, and don't go, oh, do they want me to do this? If you don't know right now, then that means there's something else that you are going to find out. So leave it alone until you do. It'll click in when you just step away from it and not worry over it, panic. So this is a very, very important. Um, get in a sense, for some reason, that you are, making some big decisions, and you are really connecting in and really trying to um, get a sense of alignment with your soul. You're really seeking to honor your truth and to, you know, um, and walk your truth and all of that good stuff. And they applaud you for that. But this is a very important time. Is right now I'm seeing like a tree um, trunk that is very wide and it's growing wide, and it's interesting because the roots in the ground, I don't see them, but the ground is sort of there's a mound building, and that's also expanding, as well as the branches. And what's also happening is that the branches and the are moving closer to the ground. So this is telling me that some kind of movement is really happening. Whereas I feel like there's this connection between, heaven and earth, a gap closing. And so it's giving me a sense that some of your intuitive words, I see a third eye in this trunk of the tree, some of your like your purpose, your life purpose, your soul purpose, there's something that's connecting for you between the idea and the manifestation of it and the physical realities coming together. And you're on a really, most of you are on a really profound spiritual journey. They're showing me like a boat, and so which is represented for me right in this moment, that transitions, journeys, could be literal traveling, or that you're moving, to new directions. Transitions could be career-wise, or things in you're changing things in your relationships, in your interactions, in your social interactions. Maybe you're making changes in your diet, or you're moving to new homes, things like this. So it gives me a lot of this kind of movement, is a period of movement where you're really actively getting moving on something. They're writing out the word job. It could be a job change, career change. There was another word I saw, but it'll come back if it's. But so the thing is that this is all. First of all, I want you to know this is all happening. It's all being guided by your higher self. All of it. So you got to trust right now, as the third eye is getting really huge. You're like in all of your impulses are intuitive, and they wrote the number 4, and that means that the angels are supporting you. So the angels want you to know that they are there, that they are supporting you. It's in the masters, and this is a big thing. I get a sense that like this is big for you, and they really want to confirm that you've made some. They wrote the word changed. So there are some things that you've changed, and these are really significant changes. Changes that they're applauding you for, backing you up on 100%. Don't give up in any way, shape, or form. They want you to enjoy this process of change. So don't freak out. You may feel lost because, and I'm getting this now about that beginning message, you may feel lost, and you do feel lost when you actually allow change to happen. Now, this is like one of those relief moments, when you actually breathe, when you realize that when you feel lost, it's because you are, for the first time, living in the present. You're not living, fixating on the past or the future. Do you realize that that's where most of us live? It's only when we're doing an activity, like a skill or a talent, or you're creating something, and you're caught up in the moment, and you feel that sort of like you're just in that zone. Those are the moments that we are present. That's why we meditate, to practice that. But meditation just reminds you of what that is. So if you do that well, that is a form of meditation. When you're in that creative zone, you are in a meditative state. And so meditation isn't just for you to sit quietly, but meditation is to enhance these creative zones. But the thing is that we're also meant to, and I think it's better to think of the creative zone as the ideal for being present rather than just meditation. Because meditation, for most of us, is just sitting and nothing is happening. But it's a practice for that state of mind when you are working. So you can be, the ideal for meditation, or the concept should be this creative zone where you are working, you are fully conscious, and you are also, this active, this creative dynamic, this dynamic activity of source consciousness, who is creating and realities. And so, you want to really learn to harness that and be aware of those creative zone like moments. And so what I'm getting a sense of is when you're feeling lost, like you don't know what to do, or you don't understand what's happening, or you feel uncertain about what's happening, it's because for the first time you're not using what the angels have said is coping, is that you use memories from the past to help you to identify what's happening to you in the present moment. And they are always false, although we think that they're the best thing that we could rely on. Because you say, well, you meet a new person in your life and you go, oh, I recognize that sign in that person. And yeah, and sometimes it can be, but it's like a can be kind of thing. And the thing is that you got to remember what you perceive brutalizes in the eye of the beholder. So if you perceive it, then that becomes a reality. You kind of bring out these qualities in circumstances or people because of the way you're seeing things through your storehouse of memories, which are all past tense. And so you're not really ever seeing anything as it truly is being gifted to you in the present moment. Clean slate. Every present moment is clean slate. Every present moment is not some memory or something that reminds you of something. That's you bringing that in, and that's you that makes it true. That's why one of the things that kept repeating to me this weekend was I was worried over something myself, and they kept saying, but no one else is responsible for making you happy. They just kept saying that over and over again. And I kept getting it over and over again. But they needed to keep saying it over and over again. And but it was the first time I was actually feeling it in my body, and whatever we call the present focus. I felt it for the first time. It was a concept. I understood it, but I had never felt it. And that's one of the most profound things I think that you can get out of this week, is feeling these things. And so that feeling lost is because you're not relying right now. You're not coping. You're not drawing on the past. So Don't let this throw you. Celebrate this a little bit because it means you're really moving. Okay? It means you're transitioning. You're allowing something to transition. And you, even though you can't see the details, and this is now, they wrote that word faithful. So this is where now you can really apply your faith. Your faith is, hopefully your faith just got a little boost from understanding this. All right, let's take a look at the card that represents the theme of the week from the archangels. All right, and this is the card leadership, the Archangel Gabriel. And so this card reminds me, I always thought this would be the perfect judgment card as well because of the trumpet here. And it's something is calling you, summoning you, okay? And you feel this. Now, in this sense, it could be for some of you a leadership position or starting, some kind of apparent phrase. I've heard it before. It's like maybe you've a startup kind of initiative you've taken on, or you maybe are going to get involved in some community project and sort of bring, even though you may not take the helm of this project, but you are going to maybe you decide to get engaged in some of these things and take leadership by bringing your own brand of truth to the table, which is a form of leadership. Each person that shows up at the table is a leader in their own right because you all have your own brand of truth, you see. And so this brand of truth for you is beckoning you, and you're getting a sense of it, and you may be stepping out and making transitions. You're in the transition process, but you feel a little bit lost. But don't focus on the lost part. Focus on the call, what's summoning you, and don't worry about where you're going. Focus on, don't worry, focus on what you're being guided to do, because each I'm going to say this very awkwardly because it just has to be said this way. Each doing leads you to on that path. We get so focused about the path, and then we fixate on that. But when you already have a sense of doing, just do. Do, and the path forms out of the doing. If you really want to live in the present moment, you have to focus on doing. The doing creates the path. You don't have to worry that you're going to fall off some bridge or fall, there's going to be a hole in the... Don't worry about stuff like that. That kind of stuff, when you worry about it, that's the stuff that makes most of you, and I've been there, it debilitates you and you can't move at all. And then you get frustrated and you beat up on yourself and then you get your self-fulfilling prophecy thing going. So don't do that, okay? Just focus on the doing. What you're being summoned, that whatever's summoning you is probably something like an action, an inspired action. Just do it. And then you say, because sometimes you think about your day and you think, oh my God, and you dread it because you think about all the things that you have to do and how you're going to get them done instead of just doing. Right in that inspired moment, in the present moment, what should I be doing? But the thing is that if you're asking yourself that, you're ignoring what it is you should do, or what you're being told to do or inspired to do. So be aware of asking too many questions, because that means that you are interrupting the creative flow. You are tearing yourself out of that creative zone. Just do. You're prepared more than you think. Okay, the card says it's time for you to assume your leadership power and position and lovingly guide others. So whatever you've been, feeling called to do in your heart, don't delay on that. Okay, now let's take a look at the card for the first part of the week. And we have the Queen of Winter, which is the Queen of Sword. And the first thing I felt like I was hearing is, it's time to trim the fat. cut out the excess in your life. Cut out the things that are getting in your way, that are distracting you. Okay, um, the Queen of Winter. She's a queen, and they're nurturers, and They're creative. But this queen, she's different from the others because she's a nurturer, but she's not going to waste time. She's not going to um, allow distractions because she's the queen of thoughts, right? And ideas. And so she's not going, she can see the distractions, and she's constantly focusing so that she can create and nurture and where it's necessary and where it's needed. So I'm seeing the word exaggerations. So some of you get caught up in exaggerations. I'm getting a sense that you may be really over, just really over exaggerating a lot, especially when you get emotional. And the queen would be sort of like the kind of person you stand in front of and she just say, "Stop that," and you go, "Ugh," and she's like, "No, stop that." Okay, I'm stressed up, but no, stop and do. Because if you work on something, then you don't have time to be stressed. And as you're following that inspired action, you feel alignment, you feel harmony, you feel peace, because you are doing what you're supposed to be doing in the moment, not all that other extraneous stuff that has nothing to do with anything for right now, nor does it probably belong in your life. So you probably have a tendency to take on responsibilities you shouldn't take on, and you're not speaking up, and you're not being clear, you're not being decisive. And so this is where she comes in to sort of remind you at the beginning of the week, and probably throughout this period, to be more clear cut, and possibly not to don't get caught up in people's emotions. Okay, you have to focus on they're writing the word focus here. You have to focus on your job, meaning your responsibilities to your heart, to your soul. Better yet, the responsibilities to your own happiness. Can't get better than that. Your responsibilities to your own happiness. No compromise. Okay? All right. The card says, let go of people or things that no longer serve you. Now is the time to focus on your career. All right, unmarried or divorced individuals. So that message in there, those first two sentences really punctuate what we were just saying. All right, let's take a look at the card for the middle of the week. See? Followed up by the Ten of Spring, which is the Ten of Wands, which is all about taking on too much, trying to carry too many things at once, and not having any time for yourself. So the result that this card represents is either you'll be physically overwhelmed and then become physically stressed, and then that the emotional stress rather, will lead to physical symptoms. So you got to keep your burdens light. Now, they kept writing the word light to me before while I was meditating. And so this could be one of those things that they mean here. So, and I'm also getting that this is a good time for you to do some energy healing on yourself, okay? To keep your light body balanced with to keep everything balanced. So if you do any Reiki, you can do Reiki on yourself, or any other healing modalities where you can balance some of the systems of your body, like the lymphatics, and most importantly, so drink lots of water, take care of your physical health, but make sure you get plenty of sleep, but do not sacrifice your own purpose and your own happiness. So this is a week where you're supposed to be stepping up to the plate, like this leadership card here, right? And focusing on your own mission. And you can't do that if you're carrying too much. This card says, ask for help from others. All work and no play. So there's also like, have some, enjoy yourself. Balance your work. If it's not fun anymore, then you've stopped being inspired. Don't blame the job, okay? If you know if you've gotten a message that you shouldn't be at that job, then you should have done that. You should then that's what the Queen of Winter would be saying, or Swords would be saying, cut that out of your life. But if you know you're talented in your job, and you're and there's a lot of potential, a lot of opportunities for your job, you just stopped having fun. That's because you've stopped having fun. That's because you've allowed things to happen in the situation that's placed so much responsibility on you that it's no longer intriguing. It's no longer, your passion has been drowned in things that don't inspire you. So clear the clutter and get back to being inspired, focusing on the things within the job that inspire you. You can easily do this. I've done it when I was working in a job and teaching. You can do that immediately. Focus on your passion. Don't ever compromise or let anything get in the way of your passion, because that's the heartbeat of every moment that you breathe. That's what causes that creative zone for you to just click right into that creative zone, that flow. It's like a cocoon of peace when you're in the creative zone, and when everything is channeling through you, that flow. So whether this is job related, which is what the ones usually career indicate, but this could be other things too, relationships, that may be draining your happiness in your own career. So somehow it relates in this way. All right, let's take a look at the card for the end of the week. Okay, so here we got the 5 of Summer, and it says, so this card is about, I love this card because she's running, and I like to think of this card as, running away from the thing, our emotions, looking for things, you're looking for an escape, and when you're in a state of fear or stress or emotional stress, you will want to leave your body, so to speak. It's like you want to run away. You don't want to deal with what's going on. You don't want to face it. You can't find the peace that passes all understanding when you're emotionally overwhelmed. And so it's important for you to take care of yourself. And I get this feeling, again, to not be afraid to stand in your power. And I did this little exercise that one of my friends has taught me about, where when I start to feel myself all over the place, and they're writing the word people. So for some of this may happen for you when you're surrounded by a lot of people, or there's a lot of drama going on around you, or you get nervous about, presenting or something like this. But just see your soul. It may be sort of sitting across the room, and just call it back into you by breathing, and have it stand on your shoulders, and then take deep breaths and just draw it down into the body with each breath until you feel it centered and grounded. And it really helps to do that. And then you have more clarity. They're showing me a table, and they showed me an arrow too. But the table reminds me of Psalm 23. Thou prepares a table before me in the presence of those that trouble me. And what that means is that you see the opportunity. You see love shows you what your purpose is and how you can heal and be of service in that moment, and shows you what you want, makes clear to you what you want, and to take action on that. And you get that arrow going to the right is like there's either a sense that you know which direction to go, when you're more grounded in your body. The card says, trust that there is a reason for everything that happens. Remove yourself from the negative emotions of others, focusing on that which frightens or worries you. Okay, so um, just know, and another feel I'm getting about that symbol is that whatever happens on this day, just know that it's not going to be as bad as you think. Don't worry that you're going to get, I feel like you're going to get somewhere since they showed me that table, um, prepared, a beautiful table, a little small table, like a romantic setting for two. But, and it could be about a relationship situation, and maybe you're worried that somebody, um, about them moving, taking the next step, moving and meaning maybe for a proposal or maybe just, long-term um, dating, or do they love you, or that kind of thing, and you're ready to bolt out of there because you are afraid you're going to get rejected. And what I'm getting is that's not going to happen, that it's going to move forward. So don't, there is love there, is the word I'm seeing. So another thing I'm getting about this is for the others, if you're worried about something, you feel like you're not prepared when you get there, that it's, the things, many things could go wrong, but know that the table has been prepared for you. So show up, be present. Don't make up stuff based on your past. Don't use the past circumstances to help you to understand the present or how to deal with it. Show up, and even if you feel unclear and uncertain about what's going on, how it's going to go down, just show up and be fully present, and you'll see that table. You'll see it prepared for you. I mean, you'll know what to do. You'll have the clarity that you need. All right, let's take a look at the card that I already pulled from the bottom of the deck. And this is the Ace of Winter, the Ace of Swords. So this card represents ideas, new communications, challenges, but they come with challenges, but they're rewarding challenges. These are the kind of challenges that help you to evolve, to grow. These are the kind of things that lead to bigger things. But what's so delicious about it is, and what the challenge part is often misunderstood, is because this is like growing. It's you're exploring new possibilities, and it opens up opportunities that you weren't expecting, or it leads to something really profound. So don't fret over the challenges. Don't be afraid to show up. Okay? Don't let your ego, and that could be one of the biggest part of the challenges for you, is that you're just afraid to show up, and your ego is just telling you all kinds of things. But this card indicates that you are powerful, you're strong, stronger than you know, that you have the ability to show up and be fully present and be in that creative zone and be a dynamic force for good, okay? So don't be afraid to use your light, is what this card is saying. All right, the card says, don't be deterred by challenges along the way. It's important to communicate clearly and accurately. Amazing new ideas that should be implemented. So don't be afraid. This is the time for you to implement new ideas now. You're gonna be receiving or inspired, and you need to implement. Just do. We were talking about that earlier. So I send you lots of love, and thank you all for joining us every week, and for sharing the videos, and your comments that you write are beautiful, and thank you for allowing me to understand how you all are connecting with the information. If you are looking for an angel reading, you can contact me at theangelschool.com, which you can find in the description link below. And you can also, if you haven't joined us for our Facebook daily card messages, Monday through Friday, you can click on the link below. There's a Facebook link there to my Facebook page. As well as you can, follow on Twitter for the videos as well as the card messages. I think they'd go out on those tweets as well. So, have a great week. Don't be afraid of being lost. It means you're allowing change, your prayers to happen. So God bless you.